Hello everyone, how y'all doing? Tommy D again, coming at you with another great recipe, one of my all-time favorites. So I'm super excited. It's Mother's Day. We have the family coming over. We're talking pork butt, Boston butt here. We're going to put this out on the smoker, low and slow, anywhere from 235 to 250. This is going to take about an hour per pound to cook. So give yourself an adequate amount of time to put this on. It's also going to need a little rest period. But let's get into the basics here. This is just a basic pork butt, folks. This one here weighs about 9¼ pounds. You can get these at your local supermarket butcher. This pork butt here, we're going to, basically eat all of it. So we're not going to do any trimming, nothing of that fancy stuff. We're just going to get this layered up with some duck fat spray today. Usually use yellow mustard. Get a binder so the rub can stick to it. But we're going to try out the duck fat today and see how that compares to the normal way that I do it. First things first, you just want to give it a good coat. Like I said, you can use olive oil, you can use avocado oil, peanut oil, whatever oil you would like. I'm going to use this duck fat spray today. Again, I like to use, also like to use plain old yellow mustard. So I'm going to give this a good coat on all 4 sides, okay? I need something for this rub to stick to. If I don't put anything on it in a binder, this rub's going to fall off over time, transporting it to the cooker, what have you. And we want this stuff to stick to the outside layer so we have a beautiful bark and that good color that we're looking for. I've had a lot of good success with this duck fat spray here recently. You can get this at Strickland's General Store in town. If you're in the Athens area, you can find them online at duckfatspray.com. So don't be afraid to get dirty, folks. Get in there, get you a real good coat. This is going to work out great, I think. And that's basically it for your binder there. Stay tuned, folks. Okay, now that we got our pork butt sprayed down with the duck fat spray or got our binder on it, before we get going, I want to mention to you that it's pretty simple. Just get this thing out of its packaging, give it a quick rinse, pat it down with a paper towel. Like I said, we're not doing any trimming on this pork butt. We're not injecting it. We're just making a good old tasting pork butt that everybody, your company, your family that's coming over will enjoy. I'm using Mr. Lambert's Sweet Rub of mine today. I use this quite a lot because it's great. You can get this at your local Lowe's Home Improvement, Academy Sports in town here in the Athens area, or you can find Mr. Lambert online. He's a world champion barbecuer. So I'm going to give this a pretty good coat on all 4 sides. These pork butts, as you can see, they got a little flap here on the top usually. I like to make sure that I pull that back and get a good bit of rub down in there. This rub gives these pork butts not only a wonderful taste, but a great color appearance as well too. High paprika rub. And basically, you just want to get all 4 sides coated down. Once you get all 4 sides coated down with your favorite rub, you don't have to use this one. You can use any one you can choose. You can make your own. We want to let this sit out for about 25-30 minutes and let this rub set in and work its way into the meat. Get the meat sweats, as they say. That way, when you put this on the smoker, that rub has absorbed into the meat already. Got a good looking fat cap on the bottom. We're going to be cooking this fat side down on my pellet smoker today. A lot of people say not to cook it fat side down because you want the fat cap on top and you want that fat to render down and drip down onto the meat itself. Well, with a pellet smoker, anybody knows anything about pellet smokers, the heat source comes directly from underneath the meat. So I want to put this fat cap down first so it protects the meat for this long cook. Once again, we're going between 235 and 250, low and slow. It's going to take about an hour per pound. And that's pretty much it, folks, your basic pork butt. Stay tuned. We'll get out on the grill and get this thing rolling. Get your mind right. Okay, folks, welcome back. We're outside at the smoker. I've already placed it on the smoker here. Fat side down, very important on this pellet smoker. We're going to between 235, 250 on our temp. I'm using cherry and pecan mixture of pellets. I put about 5 pounds each, mixed them in a bucket. That cherry and pecan work real well. That cherry gives it a real nice color and appearance as well. We're going to cook this thing, like I said, low and slow till we get to 165 internal temp. I got my ThermaPro out here. Again, we're going to monitor the internal and also the actual grill temp. We can get both of these inside with my ThermaPro. We're going to go to 165 internal. I know it's going to take about 4 to 5 hours to reach that 165 mark. Once it reaches 165, we're going to take the butt off and wrap it in aluminum foil, get it back on the grill, and get it up to about 198 internal temp. We want to shut this lid down. We're not doing any spritzing or anything. We want to keep this lid closed because the more you open it up, the more it's going to interfere your total cook time. So let's keep this lid closed, because if you're looking, you ain't cooking. Stay tuned, folks. Get your mind right. And make sure when you put your probe in for your internal temps that you don't hit that bone. It's very important that you put it in the thickest part of the meat. It's not in the bone. You can cook this pork butt recipe on any smoker. Just make sure we hold the temp between 235, 250, low and slow. Stay tuned, folks. Looking good. All right, back outside at the smoker. Look at there. It is looking absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's sweating. The bark, that cherry wood's coming through. Let's get this bad boy inside. It's reached our internal tip of 165. Folks, this meat is super hot. Get you some claws, get you some good gloves. Invest in those if you're going to do some barbecuing. You do not want to get yourself burnt. So this probe inside has reached a 165. I'll meet you guys inside. We're going to put this in a double wrap of heavy duty aluminum foil. We're going to get it back on the smoker, and we're looking for an internal temp of 198 before we take it off. Get your mind right, folks. Folks, we're back inside. I got 2 big long pieces of heavy duty aluminum foil. It's important that you use the heavy duty. We want to get a good seal and create a good seal on this butt so it can go back on the smoker. It can tenderize itself. We got the bark set on the outside. It's looking beautiful. It took about 5.5 hours to reach 165, almost 6. So we're going to put this back on the grill. I'm a tall fella, so if you can't see my beautiful face, it's okay. Thank you, Mom. We're going to keep the probe inside. We're not going to touch it. We're not going to move it. We're going to keep it in the same exact spot. It's important that we get that good reading. So what I like to do is kind of create a seal around that probe and come over and then kind of wrap it over the top. I'll turn this around so y'all can see. And then create that good seal on the edges so none of those juices get out. And then I'll turn it back over this way, the same way we had it on the grill. We're going to put it fat down. So I'll do the same thing with this side. And wrap it around that thermometer. We'll go off and under this side and then back around it. We're still going to 235, 250, folks. We're going to go put this back on the grill just like so. We're going to monitor the internal temp till it reaches 198. Once it reaches 198, we're going to take it off the smoker and put it into a dry cooler and let it sit for an hour. Very, very important part of this whole deal. You have to let this meat rest. But in the meantime, I'll meet y'all back outside. We're going to put it on the grill. Happy Mother's Day. Get your mind right. Okay, my ThermaPro's hit 195. That's just about perfect. You go anywhere from 195 to 198. Let's see how we're doing here. As you can see, it's kept a lot of the liquids in with that seal we created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug it from the ThermaPro. Get yourself a dry cooler, folks. Any dry cooler will work. It ain't got to be nice and fancy Yetis, any of that stuff. Get you a couple towels and just set it down on in there. Okay? And then what you do is just put that probe down in there and get your towel and kind of put it over the top. And this is what they call the resting period. And we want this to rest for at least 1 hour before we touch it. It's going to carry over and the temp's going to rise up a few more notches. and those juices are going to settle back down into that cooler, and then we'll get it out after an hour and we'll start pulling it and working on it. Stay tuned, folks. Folks, we're back inside the house. The pork butt has rested inside the dry cooler for about an hour. I can't take it any longer. We got family over here. It's Mother's Day. We need to get this thing pulled and get it in our belly. So here's the bone that comes right on out. That's the instant read thermometer right there, people. That's the shoulder bone. And you can see the bark and everything. What I like to do is I like to transfer it over to another pan. You got to get you a good set of gloves here, folks. If not, you're going to scald yourself like a dog. So what I like to do is just get that fat cap off, stick it over here in the little au jus, kind of separate it. So juicy, as you can see here. Zoom on in here, babe, too. I mean, look at that. Just moist, tender, delicious. Let's give it a bite here. Folks, anybody can do this. It just takes a little time. If you like what we're doing here, go check us out online. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Get your mind right. Happy Mother's Day again to all the wonderful mothers out there. Pulled pork, baby. Georgia style. Get your mind right. Shout outs to Duck Fat Spray. Wonderful job as a binder. I could tell when I pulled it off before I wrapped it, it was nice and crisp. I'm going to continue supporting Duck Fat Spray. It's a wonderful product. Get your mind right.